Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Monday Manifest. It's kind of funny that I'm doing this right now because I'm still technically live on stream, but don't worry about that. This is just a good way for me to collect my thoughts on the game Mario and Luigi Brothership, which is the game that we're going to be talking about today because I just beat it. And oh man, the game is very, very good. Let me start off saying that I do have some grievances, which I will detail as I talk about things. But let me put it this way: I beat this game. It took me 73 hours to beat this game. And that was doing all of the side missions, doing like other extra stuff. I think there were like a couple of things I didn't do because I think there was like an island with a mini game on it that had harder difficulties once I learned a new ability and I forgot to go back there. I kind of wish that was tracked as well, but it only really tracks the main and side quests. Or not even the main, just the side. Oh no, well the main quests just show up as their own little marker. They're not really like in a list or anything. But first off, visually, this game looks very, very good. I absolutely love I was just talking about it earlier. I love the animations of Mario and Luigi running. I'm at the very beginning of the game, so I currently don't. Luigi's not with me. But there's a nice thing. It's probably harder to see because it's smaller, but they have a gradient all over Mario, like on his sleeves and hat and everything, where it goes from a red to like kind of a purplish, and it just works. And it's just a very good like design, and the animations are very smooth both inside and outside of battle. There are some FPS drops, but I mean it's a Switch title, and if you own a Switch, you know that it's not going to be running like 60 to 120 FPS on pretty much anything, other than maybe if you're playing, the like Nintendo or Super Nintendo titles, or things that require very little processing power. The cutscenes in the game looked good. The fight system, very smooth. Like, lots of really great things. I quite liked the story. It was very good. My major grievance with the game really is that, like I said, this game is about, me doing everything the first time. And I think I only game overed once, maybe twice, 3 times. And the only times that I game overed was because I was wearing a piece of equipment that made me really strong, but also instantly killed me if I got touched by anything. So, the game isn't that hard. It does definitely go up quite a bit in difficulty going into the end game. There's just this enemies do a lot more damage and also have a lot more variations of attacks, but the overall like challenge of the game is not that high. I probably had a harder time killing extra bosses and certain enemies for side missions that were very strong than even fighting the final boss. But the final boss fight was great too. Like, there was just a lot of stuff that was very impressive at that point. Also, like, look at that water animation though. Damn, man. I really love the game, but I will say I started to kind of mentally check out around the 50-hour mark because the story just started kind of doing the thing where they're like, okay, well, you already went to these places, but how about you go back to these places and do some other stuff? And, it kind of, if you've ever played the Dragon Quest games, the Dragon Quest games do this a lot where you're doing your thing and you're doing your best, but the enemy is always like 1 to 2 steps ahead of you until like the very end of the game. And that's kind of how it started feeling at that point, where it was just like, you're doing this, but they've already done this, so you're just kind of catching up and then fighting and dealing with other stuff, and then sometimes having to go back and redo things, and you're like, but I already did this. That was cool the first time, but it's a little less cool the second time. So yeah, like it suffers a bit from feeling like they were like, well, the game is long, but we could add a bit more stuff to make it even longer. And actually, I was talking about it because I did all the side missions. There are a lot of side missions, by the way, and some of them are timed. Like, if you get past a certain point in the game, you just can't do the side missions anymore. So I did all of them, and that probably added, like, quite a few hours, like 10, if not 15 hours to the overall, like, playtime, probably. Especially since a lot of those involve fighting or going to different islands or fighting, like, a very strong enemy and stuff like that. But that's probably my biggest gripe about the game is, and that's, if you know me, you know that I absolutely hate the feeling if I'm playing a game and it feels like they just added stuff to add stuff. It's one of the things that I like, one of the demerits I have for like the Final Fantasy VII remake, the first one, because I haven't played the second one yet because it's, you know, been an exclusive on PlayStation and I don't have a PS5. Is that there were so many times where there was all this extra content, but it was like a part of the story, and it was stuff that was like not really necessary. It just felt like they were putting it in there to put it in there and kind of like extend the life of the game. And I don't like if it doesn't feel like it's relevant, but it's just shoved in there or added in, then I'm like, I don't really like how this is done. But for the most part, the pacing throughout the story is quite good. Like, there's quite a few tutorials. You get a lot of different moves and bro moves and things like that, just like you would in the other Mario and Luigi titles. And it was just such like an adventure. And it's just like once I hit a certain point, I was like, okay, guys, it just feels like you're just throwing this stuff in here to have yet another thing to another thing to just like throw onto the pile, basically. Like puzzles started being kind of a chore, and I was like, okay, I mean, come on. Like, I get that you want to keep certain things relevant and all that, but this is just, and you know, it's even near the end of the game, they added some new mechanics, and I was like, I don't like this mechanic. This actually makes things less fun for me. And I actually commented on that. Like, if you guys watch my videos, it's very easy to tell when I'm starting to kind of lose interest in a game or I'm flagging mentally or burning out a little bit, because I'll start checking my phone more, or you'll see me kind of looking at other screens because I'm just like, I'm basically just doing other shit, you know, because I'm like, well, I'm kind of mentally checking out and just doing something else to fill the gaps, you know. And it's not like, as soon as a game starts feeling like a chore or like I have to kind of to fight to keep my focus on it, then I'm like, okay, this is dragging too much. This is just not doing it for me right now. And I had a lull like that for quite some time near the end of this game, just because a lot of the stuff was like, okay, it feels like this is busy work now. But aside from that, like, I liked the characters. I liked all the different places you went to, the people you met, like finding out, like finding new, better equipment, finding out like new bro moves and seeing what worked best. And one of the major things they added in this game, which I can't show you right here, are battle plugs. And basically, they're kind of like temporary effects that recharge after a while, but you use them to do various things like automatically use mushrooms, automatically use syrups, like strengthen certain moves, make it so you don't get status ailments. Like, there are a lot of different things, and it was a really cool like way to strategize in a fight. And thankfully, you could change out these plugs in the middle of your turn without wasting a turn. So you could just kind of like look and be like, okay, this time I'm gonna swap all these in, and we'll see how this goes, and then kind of go from there. And that was a really dynamic, like, cool thing to add to, well, you know, the basically the base battle system that you're used to in most Mario and Luigi games, which is Mario jump, Luigi jump, Bros move, you know, and sometimes they added other stuff, but usually it was pretty cut and dry. Get your timing right on your jumps and your defense and everything, and you usually do pretty good. And this game is no different, especially near the end game. It gets very punishing if you do not if you do not learn the enemies like attacks and everything, because they will hit you multiple times and not care. There was a point during the final boss battle when I'm pretty sure if I hadn't defended at all, I would have definitely died within like 10 seconds, and the attack kept going for like 30 seconds. So there's just so many good things about this game. I like the characters, you know. I always like the dynamic of Mario and Luigi. And this one definitely pushes the idea of them doing things together much, much more than the previous ones. But fantastic game. Would highly recommend it to anybody who already enjoyed playing the Mario and Luigi games in the past. Fantastic cast, like the music, really great, visuals great. Like there's just the sound design and everything. The final cutscene was amazing. Like there's a lot of little cutscenes throughout the game too. It's just a very good time. So yeah, Mario and Luigi Brothership, excellent game. There are some parts that feel like they're a little bit of a lull and everything, but there's so much other stuff that's good about it that it was all worth it in the end. And part of it might have just been because I'm playing it on stream, and when I play RPGs on stream, I feel that time constraint because I'm like, it's taking me a while. Like this is, like I said, this is 73 hours, and I played at least 60 of those hours on stream. The other hours were probably me grinding or doing other stuff. And that is a long time to be streaming a game, you know? So I was like okay, I'm ready for this to be done. I'm like, we're going to beat the boss, right? And then it was like, actually there's like 15 more hours of game. And I was just like, oh, please, but I just want to do the thing. But yeah, now that I've done it, I do definitely appreciate this title for sure. So yeah, Mario and Luigi Brothership, amazing RPG, great addition to the Mario and Luigi series. So highly recommended if you love those games or just RPGs or Mario in general, honestly. But yeah, that's it. I jumped straight in, got to the point, and yeah, that's the Monday Manifest for this week. So thank you everybody for being here, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Monday, and I'll see you guys next week for whatever the hell I'm going to talk about then. So until then, have a great one.